Yes, I'm doing another dramatic reading of my own god-awful fanfiction. This is my total drama fanfiction that made it as far as novella length, and it's a total drama fanfiction. Captivated, pretty much focusing on a romance between Alejandro and Heather in just a normal high school setting. Because yeah, that's always an exciting idea or angle to go with. Taking characters in a fairly surreal and bizarre kind of setting and plunking them in high school. Yeah, yeah, that's the most original thing ever. Long footnote aside, when I originally wrote this story, I thought it'd be cool to add in Spanglish, like put in some Spanish words every so often. In this reading, I'm just going to omit that. It's just going to be English. No Spanish words thrown in at weird ass intervals. If there's any Spanish, if I even attempt to butcher the Spanish language, please forgive me for that. It's because it felt organic or I didn't see a reason to omit it. Otherwise, any Spanish words that pop up in weird places, I'm just taking them out. Without further ado, this is Chapter 1. My mom got a new job in a little town called Cress, so I'm going to have to attend a brand new high school. In no way am I concerned that I'm going to fit in just fine. As a matter of fact, this is quite refreshing for me. I see it as a chance to start over and really get what I want out of a high school experience. I'm quite excited about being the new kid. I'm going to rock all of their worlds, per se. Maybe I'll even meet a few really pretty girls, be the toast of the town. Yeah, it's going to be quite fun. Currently, I'm driving my little rust bucket to school. So, it's not the classiest car in the world, but it is a truck, and technically speaking, a classic actually, and in pretty good condition. There are a lot of girls that are into cars, so I may just impress a few of them with this little number. As soon as I park my car and climb out, I'm seeing quite a crowd spread out across the campus. It's not much different from my old high school. There's the same types of cliques, the same silly hierarchy of popular to unpopular. This just makes my task that much easier. I'm just casually walking around, smiling and looking. In order to really make a sufficient first move, I must be observant and logical in the method I go about doing it in. When I enter the school, my originally incognito status is gone. A blonde girl approaches me, biting her lip and looking at me with light blue eyes. She's pretty cute. "Hi, I'm Bridget," she says, extending her hand. "You must be the new kid?" "Pleasure to meet you," I reply, flashing her my $1,000,000 smile. "I'm Alejandro." She giggles a little, getting flustered. It really is charming, making me wonder if she already has a boyfriend. But even if she does, I wouldn't be able to resist flirting. "Where are you from?" she asks, trying to stop giggling. "All over the world," I reply. "None of the many girls I've seen are as beautiful as you, though." For extra emphasis, I wink at her and watch her face turn completely red. That's when a buff blonde guy in a pink buttoned-up shirt shows up. He looks mellow, nonchalantly adjusting the cowboy hat on his head, but I can see the flames in his eyes. Someone's jealous. "Hey, welcome to Cress," he says, gritting his teeth and trying to keep his cool. "I see you met my girlfriend, Bridget. I'm Jeff." "Nice to meet you," I say, looking innocent. "I'm Alejandro." "Jeff?" Bridget tries to be subtle about poking him in the ribs with her elbow. But I'm fully aware of what is going on, even though my demeanor may express otherwise. That's the best part about being an actor. Your visage reveals one thing, while an entirely different thing is occurring in your brain. "Yeah, welcome," he says, rubbing his arm where Bridget elbowed him. "Bridget and I are heading to the caf. You can come too, if you want." He seems quite reluctant about the last part of what he just said. Part of me is tempted to take him up on his offer, just to further grind his gears, but I decide against it, considering that I'll probably get more chances in the future. I just smile at him. No thank you. See you around then, he says. See you around then, he says, putting an arm around Bridget's shoulders and leading her elsewhere. Bye, Alejandro, she says, blushing and giving a little wave. I wink at her and smile, watching her face turn a deeper shade of red than before. Watching her face turn a deeper shade of red before she turns back around. Then they're part of the big crowd again, leaving me alone. I'm most certainly enjoying being the newbie so far. I decide to head to my locker and figure that out before I continue with my tomfoolery. As entertaining as it is to ruffle the other students' feathers, I probably should take care of the technical aspects now so that I don't have to attend to such matters later. Promptness is my kind of style. Casually, I walk around, scouting the numbers heading the lockers. Along the way, I do happen to notice that some of the girls are checking me out, but I pretend that I didn't notice. That little trick makes the girls approach me first. It's not long before I find my locker and put my backpack and other belongings inside it. That's when I notice a clock on the wall a few feet above my locker. Unfortunately, there's only mere minutes left before my first class starts, so I don't really have any more time to look around. Besides, the hallway is clogged with students, so it'd take quite a bit of time to get through them, and to another location in the school anyway. I've been in bigger schools with many more students, and this school is quite minute compared to those, but still, that's my deduction from applying a mode of logical thinking to my current scenario. Suddenly it feels like there's more students boxing me in than there were before. There's a wide swath of empty space in the middle of the hallway, and girls are screaming like they're in the presence of a celebrity. A couple that I can barely see over the heads of my peers comes walking down the hall. There's a guy with dark hair, wearing sunglasses and smirking, waving at the crowd and blowing kisses. Not that I have much room to talk, but that's quite an arrogant display. My guess is that this guy's a local celebrity, or some sort of small-scale celebrity. Even those not really in the hierarchy of fame have swelled heads, and still get quite an enthusiastic reception by those who know their name. At least, that theory is proven by whoever this is. That's when I notice the girl walking beside him, presumably his girlfriend. She's just as arrogant as her partner, with a ferocious attitude to match, yelling at the others to move out of the way. One moment, she's smiling and waving. The next, she's yelling. Nobody seems to question her self-declared authority, perhaps just because she is attached to an iconic figure? She's filled with so much fire and anger, and I'm instantly drawn to her charcoal black eyes. I can practically see the flames rising and falling in her eyes. Then there's her long, raven hair, the way she struts and holds her head so high. I've come across very few girls with that sort of self-confidence. She's a beautiful woman, too magnificent to simply be a high school girl. As she passes, I can feel my heart skipping a beat in my chest. I don't even know who she is, yet she already has a piece of my heart. I must learn her name, get to know who she is. My favorite type of woman is the aggressive, beautiful, and self-confident type. She more than qualifies. If I can truly make a prognosis of a person from seeing her for only a few scant seconds, she is the epitome of aggressive, beautiful, and self-confident women. I've been to almost every country, lived all over the world, know several different languages. I've even met a multitude of different girls, but none of my experiences, or even those girls, has had quite as much of a resonating effect as this raven-haired girl seems to have on me. Through all my classes today alone, she keeps invading my thoughts, at least twice an hour. I received a couple of notes and been flirted with quite a bit today. And I sat at a table crowded completely with the X chromosome. But I was just running through the motions. It is very unlike me to be so out of place and distracted. But I am. Most of the day my head seems to be caught in some sort of cloud, and the cloud doesn't even fade in the slightest until my Spanish class. I chose this class since pretty much all the languages taught here I already know, and this one just seemed like an easy cakewalk kind of class. Well, for me anyway. I would have been in a stupor through this class too, but that's when I realized that she is in this class too. That girl. She's so beautiful. I can't take my eyes away from her. I watch as she walks into the classroom, sits down at the desk right next to me. Then she's looking at me, smiling, and I don't know why. My mind, which seems to have been struck by Cupid's bow, is entertaining way too many fantasies right now. I just lean back in the desk chair and smile at her, hoping that she is as captivated by me as I am by her. "So, you're the new guy, huh?" she asks, raising her eyebrows. "Sí," I reply, trying to be clever. "Me llamo Alejandro." "No Spanish," she says, rolling her eyes. "I'm Heather." "Pleasure to meet you." "Alright, so now I know her name." I'm so tempted to kiss her hand, but I hold back, seeing that venomous yet sexy glare. Heather, the name repeats in my mind, over and over again. "Okay." She turns around and leaves me wondering whether or not she'll say more. That's when the teacher enters the classroom. He folds his arms behind his back, clears his throat, and silences the entire class. For a while, he just goes over the typical, boring protocol. All of his words just sound like background noise. I'm staring at Heather the entire time. She isn't paying attention either. She's texting on her cell phone under her desk. I love her hair, her eyes, the way she speaks, the way she frowns. Everything about her captivates me, and I really don't know much about her. I must find out more. Soon. "Why are you staring at me?" she asks. I'm pulled back to reality. She's staring at me, noticing that I was staring at her. "You have lettuce stuck in your teeth," I say, fumbling for an excuse. Then I run out of the classroom without looking back. Chapter 2. I may have been excited about a new start and reinventing myself, but things aren't going according to plan, at all. I'm so frustrated. From what I can figure, I have a crush on Heather. Every time she passes in the hallway, I feel tingles run down my spine and my heartbeat picks up. Of course, I've had crushes before, but none of them have ever felt like this. I can't have a crush on her. She's supposed to have a crush on me, not the other way around like it is. "Hey, Alejandro." A cute redhead's looking at me, giggling. "Want a sip of my soda?" "Sure, senorita," I say, obliging her by taking the cup and idly drinking out of it. I end up regretting it. The redhead has poor taste in soft drinks, but she seems happy and I smile at her to keep her smiling. All the other girls at the table are smiling too. Apparently, for the past week or so, I made a habit of sitting at a table filled with girls. Or rather, they seem to sit wherever I sit. It's usually the same group, too. Normally, I'd be quite thrilled to be surrounded by such lovely ladies on a daily basis. But I can't help looking in the direction of Heather's table. She is the queen bee of Crest High School, sitting at the most coveted spot in the cafeteria, at the very center. I've seen others gazing longingly over their shoulders at that table. I've heard some of the girls at my table talking about wanting to sit at that table. Apparently, if a person sits at that table, they're at the very top of the school's hierarchy. Why am I not surprised? This is the same kind of infrastructure as many other schools I've attended. At quite a number of these, I actually ended up in the popular crowd. For the record, I was probably the most treacherous and deceptive out of anyone in any of those crowds. Compared to those football players and cheerleaders everybody here despises and wants so badly to be, I'd be a piranha. I keep staring directly at Heather, just looking and looking and looking. It's as if my eyes will fall out at any moment and I won't be able to see her anymore if I don't. My heart keeps pumping, and I feel my stomach clench and knot whenever I notice her holding hands with Justin. Her boyfriend is Justin, a male model that has all of the girls here drooling all over themselves. I'm not jealous of him at all. As a matter of fact, I should crush him like a little bug. What I can't stand is that she, the girl that fills my dreams, is with him. She could be with, well, me. Hey, Alejandro? My thoughts are interrupted, and the redhead's staring at me again. What is on your mind? I ask, quickly slipping back into my usual demeanor. All the girls at the table are staring fixedly at us, giggling, smiling. I'm getting the feeling that something is about to happen, and from the way the redhead's cheeks are glowing pale red, I think I know exactly what. Will you... She looks so nervous. Will you... Ask him already, Judy! One of her friends next to her butts her roughly with her elbow. Judy looks away. She's so shy, nervous, and scared. I know exactly what she's trying to do. This has happened before. I know how to let girls down gently. Yes, there may be some tears, but that can be expected from such a sensitive soul. Are you trying to ask me out? I say as gently as I can, watching her nod silently. Then she looks up at me with these two big, shining eyes. Before I can say anything else, one of the other girls pounds her fist on the table. I'm sorry, Judy, but I'm not gonna sit and wait an eternity for you to actually ask this guy out, she yelled. He needs a more aggressive girl, like me. The tension is quickly mounting. This girl walks around the table, her fists clench, and goes nose to nose with Judy, glaring. I think you should back down. She looks fierce. He's mine. What the hell's wrong with you? Another girl at the table cries, pulling the other one away from Judy. You agreed you wouldn't do this, Gina. I agree with Gina, a girl in pink sneers, standing up. I didn't get any say in which one of us got to ask Alejandro out first. You told Judy she could without asking anyone else at the freaking mall yesterday. The girls all scoot out of their seats and walk up to one another, glaring and snarling. It faintly reminds me of a special I saw on the Nature Channel. They all start yelling at each other, catching the attention of everyone in the cafeteria. Several guys are cheering and whooping, knowing that a cat fight is about to break out. Before I can even blink, one of the girls has tackled the other to the ground and is pulling and tugging at her hair. The cheering has turned into a steady chant. Fight! 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 Everything is happening so fast. A group of people has manifested out of nowhere and pushed me out of the way. Even if I did want to intervene, I can't now due to the several people in between me and the girls. The cluster of people is so dense and packed together like sardines, howling and cheering like the ravenous spectators at the Colosseum in ancient Rome. Hey, Alejandro, right? I turn around and there's Heather, smiling and narrowing her eyes in a cat-like way. Hello, Heather. Her presence makes my heart beat like a Congo drum. Are those girls fighting over you? She asks, and I can feel my stomach turning for some reason. What makes you suspect such a thing? They keep screaming your name, she says, walking past me with one hand on her hip, and they're at each other's throats. I suppose. The last cat fight that happened at Crest was between me and another pathetic girl over Justin, she says, looking sinister. I won. I'm both attracted to and unnerved by this open display of hostility Heather's giving me. Her teeth are bared and pointed like canines. The flames in the pupils of her eyes are full-fledged conflagrations. Why would you tell me something like that? I know I sound so clueless, but my head is so unusually vacant right now. I'm wondering what all the fuss is about, she says, walking up to me. I've been hearing quite a bit about you for the past week. You've made quite an impression already. I'm not surprised, I smirk at her, my head finally clearing. I have a tendency to be quite impressive. Heather's eyebrows raise. I can see the touche expression subtly engraved on her face, even though it isn't prominently showing. I can't help feeling like I'm a piranha, she's a shark, and I'm intimidating her. So much of me wants to make a move, but I'm holding back, seeing the fury and the tenseness in the way she walks, scrutinizing me as she plans her next move. Do you honestly think you've got what it takes to be bigger than Justin? She challenges me. You may be a piece of eye candy, but that can only take you so far, Alejandro. I love the venom she spits into saying my name. Oh, I'm his worst nightmare, Chica, I say, grinning at her. There's much more to me than anyone's seen so far. Especially you. That seems to knock her off balance a little. Just to heckle her a bit more, I wink before turning and walking away. Wait just a second, she says, grabbing my wrist. I let her turn me around, and even though I could very easily pull away. Her face is a deep shade of red, and I can practically see the smoke tendrils curtailing out of her ears. Yes. She's so furious she can't even speak. Incoherent mumbles come out of her mouth, and then she just lets go of my wrist. I just stand still and smile casually at her. When her face returns to its normal color, she stares heatedly at me, her eyes narrowed. I like angry women, I say. They're so gorgeous when they act furious. It truly brings out the fire and brimstone in their eyes. That colors her face red again, and she turns, stomping away. I turn away from her, smiling and feeling strangely victorious. That was more of a territorial argument than any sort of flirtatious banter, but it seems strange to me to imagine Heather as being the shy and blushing type. This seems way more natural. I have a feeling that I'll be seeing much more of Heather soon. That's when the girls from the group at my table come walking up to me. All of them look like a mess. Smeared makeup, ripped up clothes, yet they're all smiling. The shy redhead walks up to me and smirks uncharacteristically. We all got a week suspension for fighting over you, she declares. But we all realized how stupid it was to fight over a guy. I don't care if you look like a male model. I'm so over you. She pokes her finger in my face for emphasis on each word. I'm never going to let a guy like you get in between me and my friends ever again. So, adios, Alejandro. I watch as she walks away with her friends, and they all start chattering to one another as animatedly as they had been before the cat fight. The X chromosome is so strange. It may be true that I can understand them to a certain extent, but I don't think I'll ever understand them completely. A woman can be so unpredictable. For instance, one day she can be shy and nervous, then the next day full of confidence and arrogant. That little speech about how her life is so much better without me was unnecessary, though. I'm already fully aware that every girl is better off without me around. In English class, we're doing a stupid partner project, and much to my misfortune, my partner is a rotund, big, stupid Owen. He's the most cheerful and oblivious guy I've ever met. Everything about him absolutely irritates me. I mean, everything. And then there's the fact that he has the audacity to consider me his friend and give me the revolting nickname, Al. My name is not that hard to pronounce. My name is Alejandro Burro Alejandro Burro Muerto. Hey, Al! There he is, smiling and holding his hand up for a high five. Hello, Owen. I oblige him by giving him a high five. I'm just going to pretend to be polite so as not to set the big lug off and perhaps gain an enemy, though pathetic, that I prefer not to contend with. I heard there was a cat fight over you in the cafeteria, Owen laughed. Nice going, Al. You're quite the ladies' man, huh? Yes, I suppose that I am, I say absently. Not for the millionth time, my thoughts stray to Heather. I wonder what her hair feels like, what her hands feel like, what her breath smells like. The poetic side of my brain keeps indulging in my comparison to the two of us as two of the most ferocious aquatic animals known to man, the shark and piranha. I imagine a piranha chasing a shark, playfully nipping its tail fin. Ow! I realize I've been daydreaming. Could you give me some advice on how to get a girl? I look sideways at Owen, frowning. My daydream may have been extremely bizarre, but its entertainment value was much higher than that of being in reality with this big lug. Who would the lucky chica be? I feel like barfing when I say that. She is the most beautiful girl in the world. Owen sighs, his eyes sparkling. She has long red hair and she's just amazing. I know she likes me since we made out one time in the back of my dad's truck, one time during the summer. Too much information! But I don't know if I should ask her out or not. I'm kind of scared. What should I do? He adds, looking like a pathetic, lovesick puppy. I sigh. Most men seem to be lovesick drilling puppies anymore. Maybe they just don't get that if you want the girl, you make the girl want you. Romance her, I reply. Flirt with her. Ask her what she enjoys to do, and do that. Listen to her. Make her feel like a queen. You'll know when the moment is right to ask her, "Could you slow down, please?" Owen pulls out a piece of notebook paper. I want to write all this down.